Welcome to TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm Bill Morgan. This week we're exploring the annual Times Reporter High School All-Star Football Game to benefit the Rainbow Connection. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, I'll talk with Times Reporter Sports Editor Roger Metzger about the big game, and a little bit later on during the show with the Rainbow Connection's Carmel Hauter. Now, Carmel's not going to play linebacker or anything, but certainly the Rainbow Connection is very key to helping families in this community, and this game is key to helping the Rainbow Connection. It's all in this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk, focusing in on the Times Reporter High School All-Star Football Game, continues on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
TV2 Sports Talk rolling on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm Bill Morgan, Sports Director at WJER Radio. That may sound important, but this gentleman, now he is important.
No. Yours is important. Mine's just secondary.
He is the sports editor of the Times Reporter, Roger Metzger, and coming up Friday night, it is the annual Times Reporter High School All-Star Football Game benefit the Rainbow Connection. And Rod, before we dive into the East team and the West team and who makes up those teams, sort of give us a little bit of insight in terms of the history of this game, how it got started, and how it's continued to be successful for the TR and local charities.
Well, it all started back in 1978. Ray Takelet, the sports editor at the time, decided it would be cool to have a postseason game honoring the play of seniors of the past year. And he took the ball, ran with it. Dave Whitmer followed in his steps, did a great job for many years. Hank Keithley took over, did a great job for many years. And now I've done it this is my second year as being a director. Well, and Jim Haynes is helping me out. He's been very beneficial. We're co-directors. But I've done it for the last 2 years, and it is a monumental undertaking. The things you have to do just to get this game off the ground. But it's worthwhile because it's for Rainbow Connection, our benefactor this year. Last year we were able to generate about $10,000 for them, for that organization. And hopefully we'll do that and maybe a little bit better this year.
Now, is there any truth that Hank did such a good job with this game that they kicked him out of the sports department and sent him over to news?
Yeah, I think that might have been it. That might have been, and now we did some organizational reshuffling, and he happened to take over the city director position over there at the Times Reporter, and I got the job of being the sports guy. So, and with, like I said, with help with Jim Haynes, he's been invaluable. He does more than what I've been doing. But we've been trying to get this thing together, and hopefully we'll have another good showing here Friday night.
It is Friday night, as Roger talked about, the annual battle between the East and the West in the Times Reporter All-Star Game, edition number 39, to benefit the Rainbow Connection. Raj, often in the weeks leading up to the game, somebody will call me at the radio station, they'll text, they'll email. So many ways people can get in touch with you now. They'll say, well, how do they decide who's on the team? How do the seniors get on the East squad, the West squad? Sort of break that down for them.
In early January, February, we sent out to our coaches, we sent them out a question, or not a question, I guess a questionnaire. I guess you'd say questionnaire. Who would you like to see on our All-Star football team? Who would you like to see playing the game? We sent them out those and things. They get back with us, let us know who they'd like to see on the team. And then what we do is when we have our coaches selected, we take all the names, take it to them, and then they decide, well, there could be a place where you have a surplus of cornerbacks. There might be 10 or 15. Well, obviously you can't have 10 or 15 cornerbacks on a team. So we just try to get a good balance across the board. We try to get everybody represented from our schools. It's not always the case. Sometimes you'll have schools that they'll turn in their people, but then somewhere along the line they can't do it or whatever. So that's been the case this year. I don't think we have a representative from Harrison Central this year. I don't think we have one from Canton Valley. It just so happens that they have nominated, but for a certain amount of reasons they can't play it, whatever. But anyhow, then we, like I said, there are coaches, and we sit down with them and say, hey, who can we pick on the team? And not everybody's going to get picked, and I'm sure that maybe disappoints a lot of people. Excuse me, but that's just the way it goes, and we just try to get the best representation that we can.
Roger Metzger is the sports editor for the Times Reporter and our guest on this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk. Coming up a little bit later on during the show, we'll talk with Carmel Hauter from the Rainbow Connection about how this game benefits the great work that they do in the community. Roger, a sort of a unique situation with the coaches this year. Normally what happens is you have a head coach from respective high schools in the area guiding both the West and the East. But this year you've got assistant coaches, and certainly those guys in this particular case, and really in any case with assistant coaches, they play key roles in the success of programs.
That's for sure. Like I said, the first thing when we come out of the gate in the new year is try to find a coach or coaches that want to do in our game. This year we had a little bit of a problem. We moved the game up ahead to the 22nd because of practices. If we would have had the game on the 29th, practice for regular high school begins the next day, and that's a little bit too much for like a coach and their coaching staff to do that. So we moved it back to the 22nd, and we decided that that's the way it would be. And like I said, we had a good time, and we were able to get some players that are not players, but the coaches that weren't able to do it. We said, well, what can we get? And so we said, well, let's try something different this year. Let's get assistant coaches that maybe become head coaches in the future, give them a taste of what it's like to put together a team and devise game plans and stuff like that. So that's what we did this year. We got Curtis Metzger from Strasburg, who's been an assistant up there. He's very, very good. And Troy Pilato. A lot of people know Troy. He's been around New Philadelphia for years and years. Always been an assistant and lower levels, junior high. So we asked them if they would both want to do it, and they graciously accepted, and that's where we are today.
Troy Pilato carrying the East squad and Curtis Metzger guiding the West squad as they both get ready for kickoff coming up on Friday night. And really, when you look at these teams, you could look at both teams, Roger, the West and the East, unique features on both teams. And I don't want to necessarily stretch your memory because sometimes it can be hard to do when you talk about so many games in the books. But one of the unique features about the East team, and I don't know if this has happened in the past, you've got brothers playing on the team.
Yeah, it's really neat whenever you see brothers play one another, and in this case, it's really cool. Some of the top players on the East side, we got a lot of New Philadelphia contingent naturally with Troy Pilato being involved. Kurt Pilato, unfortunately Tucker Hill had a accident, unable to play, but he'll be there in spirit and he'll be on the sidelines. Logan Ford from New Philly, a very good player. Then we moved to Indian Valley. We've got Ross Love and Alec Love. They're both very fine players. Elijah Lancer, Claymont Jared Obule. So we've got a good mix. Wouldn't be remiss, Sandy Valley had a very good tournament run this last year. And Jacob Wagner and Brandon Murphy will be playing for them. They also played in the Stark County game a week ago, so they're going to be well conditioned. They'll be ready to play. Looking to the east, the west side, we've got Dallas Foster from Garraway, very good ball player. All these kids are good ball players. From Dover, Jalen Woods, Braden Ubel, Jared Torch, Daniel Van Gilder. From Ridgewood, we got Cole Lillibridge and Billy Bailey. Again, from Garraway, Josh Liggett. Tusky Valley. We got Tyler Burlier, Gabe Shetler, some other kids from there. So it's very cool to see all these kids come together and play as a unit.
It is all coming up Friday night at Woody Hayes Quakers Stadium in New Philadelphia, the annual clash between the East and the West, and the Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game to benefit the Rainbow Connection. Raj, sir, we thank you. Now, what will you be doing as the game is going on?
Well, I'm going to be on the sidelines.
Grant's personal bodyguard.
Well, that could be. Yeah, we forgot to mention C. Grant's going to be at a pregame coin toss. And, of course, some guy named Spencer Morgan is going to be doing our national anthem. I don't know. Do you know him?
I know him. He doesn't get his singing talents from me. That, Roger, is a good thing.
I can believe that.
We'll come back and tell you more about the great annual football game the Times Reporter sponsors to benefit the Rainbow Connection. We'll talk with Carmel Hauter next, right here on Channel 2.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJER-TV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJER-TV2.com community website where everything's local.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
The Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game to benefit the Rainbow Connection coming up Friday night. We've been talking a little bit about the game itself with sports editor Roger Metzger from the Times Reporter. Happy to be joined now by the executive director of the Rainbow Connection, Carmel Hauter. Now, Carmel, if you were forced to play in this game and not be there doing all the great things that the Rainbow Connection does to help support the game, what would you be good at in the game of football?
Nothing. But I would be a referee. I'm very opinionated, some say, and I just think I would be good in that position. I'm good with flags and hand motions.
And you know what? We would mic Carmel up and she could do,
Yes.
Offside, you know.
I would love that.
You would be very good
I
at
would
that.
be.
No question about it. Now, Carmel, most of the people watching this show,
Yes.
and there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands in the county.
Multitudes.
No question. They know what the Rainbow Connection is, but for a couple of people who may be watching who are going, the Rainbow Connection, what is that? Explain the great work that you guys do.
We have been around a long time. We started out in 1950. We've evolved over the years. We were Easter Seals. Now we focus on everyone in our community, whether you have a hospital bill that needs paid, doctor bills, everything as far as your x-ray and radiology, all that stuff. But we also were able to pay for medications. That's very important here in our community. Oftentimes you just cannot afford your medications when it comes to diabetes and any of the major illnesses that affect so many here in our community. And we're able to help fill that gap for your insulins, your syringes, your test strips. And on the opposite side of that, or the other side of that coin, antibiotics. You know, all of a sudden now you're sick and your antibiotic is so expensive. We're able to purchase that for you on an ongoing basis or as an emergency allocation. But We started as Easter seals, and children are still near and dear to our hearts. We buy anything for the schools, hospitals, anything needed for a child in their home. We're able to help out with that, right down to specialized formulas that we could buy on an ongoing basis. We're doing that right now for a child. That formulas are very, very expensive at times. When you're talking in excess of $200–300 a month, some families need help, and we're able to fill that. Recently, Tuscarawas County Central Catholic came to us, and we're so happy we were able to help them purchase a whole learning package, a curriculum to help children learn with reading disabilities, anything like that. We're able to help those kids out. So we're a busy little bunch, and that's why we appreciate this. This game is great. It gives us that boost in the summertime that we need so we can continue the work that we do.
Carmel Hauter, the executive director of the Rainbow Connection on TV2. Don't forget, you'll be able to watch the All-Star Game coming up Friday night with our first replay back at 10:30 Friday night as Scott Robinson and company bring you all the play-by-play action. And again, rolling your way on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock and other playback times as well. Check out WJER-TV2.com for more of that playback information. Carmel, how did you guys get involved with the Times Reporter All-Star Game, and how important is what they do in terms of raising thousands of dollars every year to what you guys do?
You know, we're a partnership. The Times Reporter knows how we help children and individuals and elderly. And if you work, if you need a hearing aid to do your job correctly, we're able to help you with that. So we touch so many lives, and the Times Reporter just likes to jump in and help us out with that big check in the middle of the summer. And we appreciate it. You know, we work very hard. You're going to see us running around in our tie-dyed t-shirts and doing everything we do. Please come to the game and eat. We sell at the concession stands. We man both concession stands. So come, get your hot dog, get your pop, and join in the fun. It's a great game.
It is the West battling the East. The East this year, coached by New Philadelphia assistant coach Troy Pilato. The West squad this year being coached by Strasburg assistant Curtis Metzger. If folks are in a situation, Carmel, and sometimes it happens quickly, where they think, boy, I need the help of what Carmel's talking about in the Rainbow Connection, how do they reach out to you guys?
I'm the only full-time employee, so when you call the Rainbow, which we're in the phone book, or you could Google us or whatever you need to do, we're at 330-343-8686. You're either going to talk to me, you could always ask for me, and I'll answer to anything, Carmel, Caramel, whatever you come up with. I'm going to answer the phone and speak with you and try and do the absolute best I can to help you. And I have an assistant, Shelly Cozart. She's back at the office now. She's there to take your calls. Everything's done with an application. We need a signed permission nowadays to do anything, but that's how simple we are. We're a phone call, simple application, and we're going to do the best we can for you.
The Rainbow Connection, the benefactor of the Times Reporter All-Star Game, coming up Friday night at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium in New Philadelphia, with the West taking on the East. Now, Carmel, because you're connected, the Rainbow Connection is connected to virtually everywhere and everybody in the county. Do you have to be careful in terms of rooting? I can't root too much for the East, can't root too much for the West. How do you handle that?
I don't. I cheer for everyone, and even my granddaughter plays softball, girls softball in Dover. I cheer for everyone, and then it's annoying, I guess, but I truly believe in children, and I just think they're all doing a great job by showing up and participating. I think it's great for our community. When you speak to these students, these football players, these cheerleaders, that's our future. You know, not to take it seriously, but they're our future, and they're the kids that join in and work as a team. I'm counting on them. You know, I'm getting old, Bill, and we need these kids coming up behind us to continue all the hard work we've done.
Now, just for the record, I would like our director and our producer, Keith Jokey, to note, and the people watching to note, it was Carmel who said, I am old. Bill Morgan did not say that. Bill Morgan did not hint at that. Carmel, it is great what people do in terms of supporting this game. You guys, the benefactor of that. But if people maybe can't come to the game on Friday night, but they say, boy, this sounds like good work that the Rainbow Connection does, how can they find you at the offices? Is it, again, a phone call that they want to say, hey, I'd like to write a check for $100, $500, $1,000, whatever it might be?
You would be amazed at how many people actually do that. And we're still at the same phone number at 330-343-8686. We're right on 3rd Street, Northwest in New Philadelphia, across the street from First Christian and also the Red Door Church, the Episcopalian. We're real easy to find. Give us a call. I'll find you. If you want to donate to the Rainbow Connection, we're happy for the support. We are very good stewards of your money, and we're going to do the best we can with it.
Carmel, as always, we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you and all the Rainbow Connection volunteers coming up on Friday night.
Thank you.
It is all a part of this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk. Coming up as the show continues, we'll take a little bit more of a football perspective on this game, the X's and O's for both the East squad and the West squad, when Sports Talk rolls on from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable.
Just wanting to be a police officer, I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
Our focus on TV2 Sports Talk this week is the 39th annual Times Reporter High School All-Star Football Game benefiting the Rainbow Connection. I'm Bill Morgan. You'll be able to hear all the action live on 1450 WJER and WJER.com, along with the WJER free app for your smartphone or tablet, and we'll stream our audio live here on TV2. Then you can watch the game for the very first time Friday night with the TV2 television coverage team as Scott Robinson and company bring it your way, beginning at 10:30 with the first replay time on Friday evening, again Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and other playback times that you can find out about by logging on to WJER TV2.com. If you've been with us throughout the course of the show, we've talked a little bit about the game itself with game co-director and sports editor Roger Metzger from the Times Reporter, and talked about the benefactor of this game once again this year, the Great Rainbow Connection, with their executive director, Carmel Hauter, and the work that they do in and around Tuscarawas County. So now we're going to go a little X's and O's style and look at both these teams. And certainly when you talk about an all-star game, one thing, quite honestly, that you don't normally hear too much about is special teams. Now, normally when you talk special teams in an all-star game, quite frankly, it can often be a disaster because they have limited practice times. Both the West and East squads will have practiced for about a week and a half prior to Friday night's kickoff. But both these teams have a special teamer that is very, very good, especially when you look at the East squad and graduated Sandy Valley star Jacob Wagner. One of the premier kickers in the state of Ohio in terms of place kicking, not a bad punter, but Wagner can really kick. I believe his career-long field goal for Sandy Valley was from 48 yards out. You can watch a lot of college football games and a guy can't hit a 48-yarder. But Jacob Wagner, certainly a weapon and a powerful right leg in that regard. That could play a role in this game on Friday night. Now on the opposite side of the field, also with a good kicker, the West squad and Dover's Daniel Van Gilder. Now the difference between Van Gilder and Wagner is really opportunity. Van Gilder, simply by the way the Dover team plays offensively, not as many opportunities to kick field goals, but he certainly does have a leg that can make him a weapon for the West squad and their head coach Curtis Metzger as well. When we talk about head coaches, we just mentioned Curtis Metzger. He is an assistant at Strasburg. The East squad led by New Philadelphia assistant Troy Pilato. And Troy has been a head coach at the 7th and 8th grade level over the years for New Philadelphia and has really done a job sort of molding the young Quakers toward where head coach Matt Dennison wants them to go eventually at the varsity level. And Troy with a unique opportunity that was highlighted in the Times Reporter last week, not only for Troy in coaching this game. Troy played at New Philadelphia back in the 1980s, but in this particular game, he's coaching his son, Kurt Pilato, who graduated from New Philadelphia in the spring, and Kurt was the starting tight end for the Quakers during the 2015 campaign that saw them win the East Central Ohio League Scarlet Division title and jump into the playoffs in Division III. Now, having said that, and when you look what the Quakers as a team accomplished back in 2015, the season probably even more impressive than winning that Scarlet Division title, then making the playoffs. Beating arch rival Dover is always important to New Philadelphia, something that, quite frankly, they'd struggled to do in recent years, but they won that game last year. Well, certainly when you talk about them getting eliminated in the opening round of the playoffs by Akron-Holben, as it would turn out during the playoff time of the season, all three teams that New Philadelphia lost to in 2015, think about this. This has have rarely happened throughout the course of high school football in the great state of Ohio. All three teams they lost to last year played for the state championship. And Akron-Holben won it all. The Quakers lost to Massillon Perry, who played for the state crown, and Canton Central Catholic, who lost in the state championship game as well. And that East roster features a number of New Philadelphia players, especially offensively, that were big playmakers for Matt Dennison in 2016. Beginning in the backfield, where Tyler Carter was spectacular in that 2015 campaign as New Philadelphia's leading rusher, and their leading receiver is also playing in this game in Braden Young. When you look at the West roster, not that they don't have some talented offensive players, because they do. Great speed on the outside with Tusky Valley's Tyler Burrier, but you look at some of the defensive names and you look at a guy like Joe House, the linebacker from Dover. Very, very talented in that regard. And you check some of the other West stars, guys that can really play it up front. And that is going to be a key to them. I think really the key to the game. You always hear that keys to the game, and Scott Robinson will talk about that on Friday night. But how does the West defense handle the East offense? Not that the flip side of that coin isn't going to be important, because it is, but that East offense has an opportunity to be explosive on Friday night. Can the West defense slow them down? They won't shut them out. They're a little bit too talented for that. We don't see things like that in the All-Star game. The West shutting out the East shutting out the West, but it becomes important on both sides. This West defense is going to have to slow down the opportunistic East offense to give their team a chance to win the game on Friday night. Now, when it comes to the All-Star game and it benefiting the Rainbow Connection, remember, you'll be able to see the game first here with Scott Robinson and his broadcast team here on TV2, getting underway Friday night with a 10:30 playback time. The second playback will roll your way on TV2 Saturday afternoon at 1. You can hear the game live on 1450 WJER. I'll be covering that game on the radio side, along with Sandy Valley head coach Zach Gardner. Coach Gardner coached in this game 1 year ago, and we're excited to have him as a member of our broadcast team on the radio coming up on Friday night. So you'll hear it on 1450. You can also hear the audio here on TV2, along with WJER.com and the WJER free app for your smartphone or tablet. All this week, we've been locked in on the Times Reporter High School All-Star football game this Friday night at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium, benefiting the Rainbow Connection. I'm Bill Morgan. Thanks for watching.